Take a deep breath, everybody.
Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Adrian Mendoza, and today I have a very, very special guest. We are actually in Dallas, Texas right now, and I'd like to introduce you to Karam.
You got it.
Yeah.
Man, is that the first time you say it?
Karam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually people always have a problem saying it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, it's so easy. It's just 5 letters. You just move with the letters.
So guys, we are in Dallas, Texas, and Karam Khalil right here, he's a realtor. He's been doing real estate for
about 4 going on to 5 years.
4 going on to 5 years. So, guys, if you're ever in Dallas, Texas, just remember you're in Karam territory. This is Karam's land. He rules.
I like that.
He rules Dallas, yeah.
Make sure if anybody's coming out to Dallas, Texas, that they know who to reach out to, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, of course. So, I want to talk about, you're young. You've been in real estate for 4.5 years. Like, what's your origin story in real estate?
It's crazy. The beginning of my journey or career, you could say, is 12 years old, buying and flipping iPhones. You use iPhone?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad it's not Android. I hate those green messages. Anybody who actually has an Android green messages, I try to somehow buy them an iPhone to kind of take them out of it if I communicate with them a lot. So that's good. So I began buying and selling iPhones up to 15 years old. About 15 and 2-3 months in, I bought my first car because I just got tired of the flipping of phones. And I bought my first car as an Infiniti G35 Coupe in 2005. I remember like yesterday. Bought that car to just drive it and enjoy it. I made a good amount of money from flipping phones. Car was, I believe I paid $7,500 for it. Kind of put the iPhone money to that car. 15 and a half, got my permit, then got my license real quick right after that. And I listed the car on Craigslist just for the heck of it. And I listed it for $10,000. And as I was boarding a flight to Australia, I think I was 15 and a half, almost 16 that time, somebody messages me, I'm interested to buy the car. Paid $7,500, listed it for $10,000. How much is the profit margin on that? Almost $2,500, right? Yeah. And I got that text the next day after listing it on Craigslist. So I called my brother real quick. I said, here's this guy's number, coordinate with him, and let's just see what happens. He had the title and everything. I land, my brother's text, I see all the texts coming in. He goes, car sold. I was like, damn it. Because I never enjoyed the car. I never got to feel it. I was 16 years old. I graduated real early, so I was going to college, and I just felt like I wanted to, you know how you want to stunt at a young age, and that's really what it was for me. That car back in the day was the car. And from 15 to 18 years old, just flipping cars, and got tired of it. Every time you got to go to the mechanic shop, you got to have someone take you back. You go buy the car, you need someone to help you bring that car back. Just a headache. So I said, what stays in one spot everybody has to come to, contractors, whatever it might be. And the answer to that was real estate. So 18 years old, began flipping properties, going to the auctions, and accidentally became a realtor, but ultimately that's how I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, so you're a hustler.
Crazy journey, man.
Yeah, of course. Dude, so, shoot. Damn, dude, sorry, that was a lot. That was a lot to take in, man.
I just dropped too much on you at one time.
That's crazy, dude. Like, how in the world, that's when I could tell, like, right when I saw your your Instagram, when I saw your first YouTube video, I could just tell, like, you have like this like energy and like drive, and I'm like, man, that's like so inspiring.
That's awesome. It scares me though, because people look at that social media, look at my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it might be. They get hyped up from it. They assume that's how my day is every day. They assume it's always drive through Chick-fil-A and drive through Starbucks. They assume it's always closing $20,000 checks. That's what they assume. But they don't know that majority of real estate is 6 days of very, very low and 1 day of a very, very high. That's just the game that you're in, right? Yeah. So it worries me, people messaging me, hey, I'm becoming a realtor. Hey, you inspired me. Hey, this is looks so cool. And maybe 99% of people who message me that, I just already can tell they won't succeed in it just by looking at their profile, how they operate, how they talk. Yeah. It's a whole different game than what I post. But in reality, it's not me posting this to just trick people to do it, but people want to see that. People want to see the good stuff. Rarely people want to see the bad. Yeah. The true hustlers want to see the bad, though, so they know what it looks like, Yeah. For example, for you, you'd want to see how the lows are so you can prepare yourself. Yeah. Majority of people, they don't want to see that. They want to just see it's easy, and that's what attracts the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, yeah, of course, like in social media, and you just put all the like really good stuff. And I think I saw a couple of posts that, where you kind of like acknowledge that side of like where it's not always like this. So I like that you do share a little bit of that. But the majority of it is like, hey, and it's not really like boasting. It's just like, you've been working so long for where you're at right now. When in social media, like when did your following kind of start picking up? Is it like around a year and a half ago?
Exactly about there. So I had an Instagram. It was my name, Karam Khalil, and then I deleted it. I deleted my Facebook. I deleted my Snapchat. I deleted my everything. I never used Twitter, by the way, so I never really had that. I just deleted it. I think I was 18 years old when I deleted it.
Was it like to get rid of distractions kind of thing?
Yeah, it was just a period. I was like, honestly, this is just wasting my time. I need to focus on flipping homes. I need to focus on building up capital. I need to focus on just all that stuff, and deleted it. Then I found out I'm going to Dubai, and I'm like, man, if I'm going to Dubai, I need snaps. I need Instagram. You're about to see Lambos. You're about to see beaches. You're about to see just all this fun stuff. Kind of repicked it up from there. And then you can just scroll all the way to my first post on Instagram. I think it was in 2017, and that's when I took a picture in a mirror, or took a picture of my luggage saying something in Germany that I'm flying out to Dubai, which was weird. I don't know why I did that, but I did.
But I did. You like translated your like.
It was literally
post?
Flying out to Dubai in Germany.
What the?
And I don't speak German or anything.
Were you like trying to like hack the algorithm there? Or something?
I was weird, dude.
Wait, so why were you going to Dubai?
It was really just something with the brothers. My brothers were going. I had friends going. We had my brothers here, friends overseas who were just flying in there. It was winter. It was New Year's. Had an opportunity to go free of cost. Why not? And went there for 7 days. If I stayed there one more night, I probably would have killed myself. It was so fun that I had to just leave. It makes no sense. But it was, sometimes when you have so much fun, you just can't handle it anymore.
Oh, okay.
And at that 7th day, I was like, I need to get out of here. And that's when we flew out.
Really?
Yeah, it's sometimes when you get too, I don't know how to explain it, but trust me, if you have too much fun, sometimes you're just like, okay, I need to just stop. It's just too much.
Wow.
All right, and that's what it was. So the 7th day came, and I was like, I can't stay again, and we just flew out of there. That's really when I started. I think it's 2017. I'll have to go back and check, but the growth is extremely slow. When you're doing organic growth, when you're doing growth off of just people watching you, when you're young, when you're building yourself, when you're showing the journey, you're just documenting, you're nobody, right? Yeah. So you have to build that, and you have to build the trust, and you have to build the audience, and you have to build all that within it. So it takes a lot of time. And then there's points where you'll just stagnate. And the only way to grow essentially is to get those collabs, to get those bigger names to shout you out. Otherwise, you're really just floating in the cloud of millions of other people just doing something like you're doing.
Yeah.
You know? So that's really how it is. It just took a while to grow.
Yeah. No, that's good. Actually, right now that you talked about Dubai, going with your brother and your friends, I wanted to like touch real quick on like kind of like your family life. Like, how is that? Because I know a lot of people, I mean, you're young, man. I mean, it looks like, I mean, it sounds like, you know, your parents kind of like let you do your thing when you were like, just like crazy. little kid, you know? Which it's awesome. Like, you know, it's really good. And I feel like, I mean, I think maybe a lot of people watching this right now who would want to see your story and stuff like that, they might also be in that spot where they're like pretty young as well, you know, and, you know, trying to look for like, you know, maybe it's real big, like I'm about to graduate high school. Yeah. Now I need to go to college because my parents are telling me to go to college, but I really have a passion for doing this. You know, like what would you say like your family support was like, you know? They've always been supportive. I mean, when I was 12, 13, 14, up to 15, I mean, I would literally go into my dad's bedroom and it's 2 a.m. and not even his bedroom, his office. And my dad, he sleeps maybe 3 to 5 hours a day, right? He's a teacher, so essentially he's goes to school to teach, and then he comes back, and then he has lectures afterwards, and he's just a 24-hour man. So it would be 2, 3 a.m. I go in his office. He's sitting just typing up lectures, typing up speeches, typing up whatever he's about to do for tomorrow. And I'm like, can you take me to Quick Trip? It's 2, 3 a.m. He's like, for what? And I'm like, I need to buy some iPads. And the iPad 2 just came out. And whenever he took me to Quick Trip, this guy opens a trunk of, I think it was like 14 iPads, sealed, brand new. My dad sketched out, this guy is sketchy, and I'm smiling. I'm like, I just hit the lotto. That's literally what I thought. I was like, I just hit the lotto. The numbers are vague in my head. If I pull up my iPhone,
in my notes everything I've ever bought, from the iPhone 6S to the iPhone 5 Sprint, $340, sold it for $440. It's like all documented on the phone. And if I would open it and see, it was 14 iPads, somewhere around that range. They were sealed brand new. They just came on the market. I think they were 450, 500 a piece. I paid for each one maybe 100, 150, maybe 200. And I think the total buyout was like $3,000. I paid him the $3,000. The next day, the same night, I went and laid them on the floor, took pictures, and I grabbed 14 iPads and stacked it in my parents' closet because it was just too tall and it wouldn't fit in my closet. And I would just like cover them with clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the next day came and I already had it listed on Craigslist before I slept. Somebody called. He's a wholesaler. He goes, "Let's meet me." I met him in the Arlington Highlands. Opened the trunk. It was like felt like a drug deal. Opened the trunk. He looks at him and he told me he'll give me 4,500 or 4,340, some weird number like that. And I could have either made like $2,500 or a quick flip and made 1,500. Yeah. Right? I did made a quick flip. I just wholesaled it out to the wholesaler and had him deal with the rest. So it was things like that where family was supportive with it. Same thing with my brother. I walk into the room, he's watching his show. It's 3-4 a.m., no exaggeration. He's knocked out, and I'm shaking him. "Bro, can you take me to racetrack? Bro, can you take me to Quick Track?" And racetrack and Quick Trip were down my house's street. And if you're trying to sell me something or I'm trying to buy it, you're always meeting me there.
Wow.
3900 South Collins Street in Arlington. I remember it because I would just blast it to people. "Meet me here. You can't meet me there. I'm good." The reason why is when someone comes to you, they're not leaving until they make that sale or they make that purchase.
Yeah.
If you come to somebody, it's a lot harder to have that leverage, right?
Yeah.
You can tell them, "Okay, leave, no problem. My house is down the street." For him, he has to make a trip back. So you have more leverage like that. I would shake my brother, would wake him up, and he'll be like about to crash in the car, driving asleep, and he would take me.
Wow.
Family, brothers supportive, but all of them thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them thought like something is wrong with this guy, something is wrong with this kid. And it was just like that, but there was always that push. And when it came to college aspect, it's a whole nother story, man.
Yeah.
Like I almost dropped out. Every semester I was about to drop out, to be honest with you. It's just back to back to back. I want to drop out. I don't want to continue. I was flipping houses, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 checks, and I'm 18 years old, 19 years old, and I'm paying $5,000, $6,000 a semester for school coming out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is retarded.
Yeah.
Buying books, etc. Like it just made no sense. So every semester, my mentality is I'm dropping out. Physically, my body somehow stays.
Yeah.
And it's because family is like, "You're almost there. You already finished
Yeah.
2 years. You already finished 2.5 years. You already finished 3. At 10, I'm like, just get me through it. And man, did I spend a lot of money to pass these classes.
Yeah.
Like I'd give someone $100 to help me, $300 to help me, $500 to help me, $1,000 to do this assignment. Like I went broke just trying to pass.
Man, that's crazy.
And there's some classes that I wanted to prove to myself I could pass because I was doing engineering for a couple semesters.
Oh.
I failed one course in engineering, which was Intro to Engineering. It's a course that weeds out engineers to see if you're really or not to be an engineer. I failed that first test. And I'm like, "Man, Karam, you're not that stupid. You could pass it." But I had to drop the class. Then the next semester, I enrolled in the same class. I paid $1,300. Even though I knew I'm not doing engineering anymore, I took that same first test. I passed it, and then I dropped the course just to prove to myself. Which people in the same class, which are friends who were in there, like, "You're stupid for that.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it, just don't do it." But I'm like, if I couldn't pass that test, I don't know where I would go in life because I just felt like I'm not stupid. I'm not quitting engineering because I'm dumb. I'm quitting it because it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I lost 2 semesters from that. First semester was the failing class. Second semester was retaking it. And then I did medical. Then I went to business. And I went back to engineering. It was all around. I probably lost 2-3 years just jumping around.
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, it's funny because I kind of did the same thing. I was in nursing for like my first 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then I was like, that's actually when we moved to San Antonio is when I decided to change my major to business because that's, I was like, business is where I think I belong as far as like a degree. But dude, it's so crazy. I relate to you like every single semester. It's just been like, this is the semester that I do it.
Yeah.
This is the semester that I stop going. And actually, this semester, finally, after 5.5 years, 6 years of school, I finally said, you know what, I'm just going to take this semester off to pay off my student loans. And then just jump back on this coming semester.
I have a weird take on that. It's like when people ask, should I go to college, should I drop out, etc., you should only drop out of college if you have something that you're working on, building, and making you money.
Yeah.
If I'm flipping houses at 18, 19, getting a 15K check, a 20K check, a 30K check, whatever the amount might be, and that's growing, I have a valid reason to quit,
Yeah.
to drop out. But if you're saying, I want to drop out because I don't have enough time to do my hustle or to do my thing, you're just BSing yourself. Ultimately, that's just a way that you want to quit and you want to get out of college. But realistically, you're not going to do anything when you do drop out.
Yeah.
You need to drop out only if you have something that's picking up, that's moving, and that gives you a reason. I actually tell people that college is the best thing you can do in your life because it gives you a buffer. It allows your parents, it allows family, it allows people to look at you and not say, why aren't you working?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's going to college. It's cool. And that's when you do your side hustle. That's when you take the biggest risks. That's when you do things that you would never do if you weren't in college. So for me, that was my biggest advantage. A lot of stuff I did in college was startups, was creating things that I could fail high in, which I did fail in many of them, but it's okay because I was in college.
Yeah.
People don't jump on you.
Yeah. I like you said, it gives you a buffer, because otherwise if you just don't go to college just because, you're seeing out like all these entrepreneurs and stuff, like college is for losers,
hype,
and then they take that advice, but then they're out there without even like a game plan, like not doing anything, and that's not smart for anybody.
I see it all day, man, all day. People just riding the hype. People think they're entrepreneurs. People are CEOs. People are bosses. People are startup owners. And how much money did you make? Oh, we haven't generated $1 yet. You're essentially nothing then.
Yeah.
Right. And you can now in social media, you can say what you want, you can look what you want, but somebody like you, somebody like me will notice that person who's faking it, flaunting it, and they're impressing the wrong people, and that's where they don't get too far, if that makes sense, So, that's just how it is. The college career and the college path and all that, it just depends on per individual basis, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I can talk trash about college because I graduated. So it gives me all the right to say college is not worth it or college is worth it.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of like it. My degree is hanging on the wall. Sometimes I use it as a mouse pad. I'm not putting it down, but I don't need it.
No, yeah. And that's exactly what I haven't graduated yet. But I want to do it, just to, my parents really believe in education. They came from Mexico when they were 30 years old. New country, zero English language, started from zero. And just to, I went to college with my parents. I was 6-7 years old, and
really?
I was going to the tutorials after their classes where it was called Aspire. A bunch of I guess maybe there were older people there, but I think also a lot of people who just had trouble learning.
I got it.
And it was kind of like a tutorial program. And they would pick us up from school and take us with them there and be there for 4 to 5 hours every day. And, so just kind of witnessing that firsthand, what my parents went through just to give us my sister and I, a good future, with opportunities. And it's being able to live in Brownsville, live in the United States,
That's huge.
And moved now to San Antonio, Texas, which is a bigger city, bigger opportunities. All that started from that sacrifice that they made.
That makes sense. What worries me the most, though, is that going to college, in my opinion, and taking student loan debt to do it, and you're planning not to use your degree, it's real worrying for me.
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, your parents get excited, they get happy when you graduate because now they feel there's comfort, there's security, and that's why you might want to be finishing it. But if you want them to understand and be secure and be happy with what you're doing, you got to show them results, right? So whether you decide to drop out or you decide to stay in college, show them results before you even graduate. Show them that you're making a penny. Show them that you're making something to where they're like, okay, he did just drop out, but he's crushing it in real estate. He's crushing it in videography. He's crushing it in content creation. He's making $1,000 a week, and he would make that with his degree. Now they're happy. Now they see something happening. Yeah. People want to drop out, disappoint their parents when they don't even have anything set on the side to show them for something. Mom, Dad, you don't understand. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to do big things. I'm going to do this, but they see nothing. You're waking up at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work like that, right? So getting student loan debt, going to college, that's something that really does worry me, though.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not going to use your degree.
Yeah.
If you're using it, it's cool, but if you're not and you're a hustler, then you got to think twice about it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're not knowing what you want to do in life and you kind of feel lost and confused, it might be the way to give you that buffer so people don't say, why aren't you working or making money? But ultimately, I would double think that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was paying it out of pocket. I was making money so I can pay it off. I wasn't taking student loan debt, right? 6,000 a semester times however many. I think it was 6 years I was in college.
Shoot.
Yeah, I lost 2 years, but I
Yeah.
graduated early, so it saved me to graduate early still, which
Yeah.
makes no sense, but it does make sense. But
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So I was racking up money, just spending money on college, and made no sense, but I just did it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for the most part, I was able to pay for my classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I think the first year that I was here, I only have it's $11,000 in student loans. It's not
Yeah.
like something crazy like 40,000,
Got
but I already have
What's the interest on that?
4.28, 4.28, and one is not even getting interest yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that subsidized thing. But I already have by November, I should be able to like take care of that, and then start this coming spring semester, I'd be able to pay for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got it.
So no, yeah, but I mean, what you just said, that's perfect, and I feel like that's a very valuable piece of advice. Like I think it's a good thing to maybe even, you know, in the case of like you have parents that are saying like you need a degree because it's security, or something like they just want you to get the degree because they don't think that you can make it without a degree. Try to see what you want to be. Like if you're studying to be a teacher, right? Look at the average monthly income, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And then try to see if you can get that by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then show your parents like, hey, look, if I don't get a degree, I can still make this every month. But you probably want to like double that because
No, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a very good way to put it. If you can just break even on that number,
Break even.
30,000 a year teacher makes, and that's more than enough just to show your parents, this is my degree, this is what I'm going to get. I don't want to do it. I'm making X amount of money a month already doing this.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to put it. Yeah. Show results. That's all it is. That first house that I purchased at 18 years old, parents were crying. What did you just buy? This house is a dumpster, trash in every room up to here from an auction. I had no clue what's inside of it. And I was just smirking. Because when I would flip cars, I would flip a car that looks like trash to making it look pretty, spending $20. One guy came to the racetrack one day. I made him drive an hour and a half in a Dodge Ram. It's a 1997 Dodge Ram. He drove an hour and a half down, and he texted me before he came. He goes, bro, please guarantee me you're going to buy this car. There's ants in it, and they're biting me all around.
What the heck?
He landed. As soon as I saw him, he opens the door, jumps out, and just hits himself, dropping everything off of him. I'm talking ants were chewing him.
Oh,
I looked,
shoot,
and he
man.
wanted for that car $1,200. I was like, there's two ways you have to look at something. Screwing someone over is not right.
Yeah.
And then you have to also look at the business aspect.
Definitely.
Business aspect, this guy is not taking that damn car back. He is not about to get bit all the way back and not selling it. I knew if I gave him $20, he's taking it. You know what I'm saying? I knew he's letting this car go. And what happened was I offered him at the end $600. He's like, come on, man, come on, do 800. I was like, 600 for him, man. This car's got ants in it. Damn. He sold it. I went home. I sprayed all the ant spray in it, closed up the windows. Next morning was clean, vacuumed it all, listed it for, I think it was $1,800, got $1,500, moved to the next. Right? So it's just all about making something ugly to pretty. So that first flip I did, when I saw it was trash and the carpet and the paint, it was beautiful for me because I was like, that's just touch-up cosmetics. It's nothing. And made that repair, made the flip, and then moved forward. And that's when parents were like, okay, he's onto something.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of picked up from there.
Yeah, actually, I have a question from someone who on Instagram had a question when I put that on my story.
Nice.
And he's actually a friend of ours, actually her coworker that asked. So it's funny. His name's JP. He asked.
Shout out to JP, right?
Shout out to JP.
Oh, I know a JP. He used to be in my brokerage.
Really?
Yeah, JP.
Nice.
He knows it if he hears this.
So he asked, how did you get started? What was your first investment deal?
Mm-hmm.
How did you find and fund your first deal?
That's a question that so many people wonder and so many people ask. And it's a little bit complicated, but I'm going to simplify it real quick. The first investment property I got was for $105,000. It was from the auction. It has to be paid out cash. So people are like, how do you get the cash? How do you make the cash? How did you raise it? What did you do? Mm-hmm. And $105,000. The rehab was about $18,000. So I think I was all in that house, $125,000, $130,000 between there. I listed it for $165,000. So the margins, you can just run the numbers like that. The way that money was raised was by leveraging my money. At 18 years old, I believe I had about $21,000, and that was everything I had. And I had also a BMW. I think it was $15,000. I bought cars I liked, and I would flip them after 6 months.
Yeah.
I would just enjoy them and then flip them, buy the next one. I only bought cars I liked, and I would make 2-3K on a flip. But I didn't. I started to kind of lose motivation for flipping cars, so I just bought things I like.
It got boring.
You know what I'm saying? I got bored. I get bored a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
But that I used that $21,000 that I have to raise the $105,000. When I buy a house from the auction, it's about 70 cents on the dollar. So if the house is $100,000, I buy it for 70, right? So worst scenario, you can almost always break even if you got something for 70 cents on the dollar. So the pitch to the investor, which was in the inner circle of my life, I always tell people, start with your inner circle, start with your family, then start with a little bit more out of there than your family's friends, and then push out to strangers, but ultimately start in the inner. And it came from the inner circle. And the pitch was the $105,000. I'm buying the house at 70 cents on the dollar. It's worth $165. I'm buying it for $105, right? And if I were to lose any money on it, you have my $21,000 to back it up. Whatever you lose, no way it's going to be that much, right? So that $21,000 that I had was to fund any losses that were to happen. And that's how it gave the confidence to get that money to be able to go make that deal happen. And at the end of the day, you got an asset, you got a property, you have real estate. No matter what, if it's a house standing up, you can always rent it, you can always sell it, you can always do something.
Yeah.
So it just made sense overall. From that first flip, connected with another person who was my business partner in my first startup. He had connections with his families. His dad was the news reporter, so his dad knew a lot of top tier people. Those top tier people wanted to get on the news reports, on the newspapers, so they would help his son, which I was his partner, which helped us raise another $100,000. It's all with who you know. It's all with who you connect with.
Yeah.
You can't go, we're in the Hilton Hotel right now. You can't go downstairs and talk to a random person and say, I want to raise $500K from you. You got to start with someone who's seen your face before, right?
Yeah.
If this is my first time seeing you now, I'm like, hey, I've seen Adrian before. He just messaged me. He wants $30,000 to do something. Will I say yes? Will I say no? It depends, but I know I've seen you at least, got to know you. So there's something that opened with us.
Yeah.
People go and they say, I don't have any connections. I don't have any family. I have nothing around me to do it. That's tough then. Then you just got to raise your own money, or you got to find connections, or you got to network. There's no secret of how you got to do it. You just now got to hustle 10 times harder than me, who already had that inner circle as I was growing up from the people I communicated with from my early on flips.
Yeah, and it's still something that you cultivated. You know, it's not just like, well, he had one already. It's like, you've been doing all this since you were like 12.
No, in order to get that first investment, I had to show all the iPhones I flipped. I had to show the profits I was making. I had to show the cars I was flipping. Maybe flipped over 50 cars within a 3-year span. I'm not even a dealer, so that's just nuts. Yeah. And I had to show all of that. Then I had to show my $21,000 as a leverage for them. Then at the end, it was like, okay, and it was still a huge risk, and that's why the parents were crying when they walked in, like, what the hell did you just buy? You're about to get in the hole. And for me, I was smirking. I was like, this is awesome. Wow. I knew I'm coming out to win. I knew I was going to make money. I knew that nobody saw what I saw.
Yeah.
And that was the day that when I did that flip and that check came in, it's like showing the parents, now they like you, now they want a couple thousand from it, and now you're good. Yeah. And you just keep moving from there.
And that wasn't that first flip wasn't the one that you documented on YouTube, like your first video, right? Or was it that one?
It might have been that one. It might have been that one, because when I first made the purchase, it was in December. It was, I bought it from the auction December 7, it's on Tuesday. And I sold it when I was in March, April. So I turned 19 right before I sold it. So it was like within those ranges. You know what I'm saying? So I was 18, then sold it at 19, because it takes time to sell. And I got screwed the first one, because the first one I signed with a person who's buying it was FHA loan. FHA is basically the federal housing, and you have to have title in your personal name for 3 months before you could flip it. Versus conventional loan, I could flip it to you the next week. Yeah. So I signed a contract with an FHA buyer. I had to hold the property for 3 months. To pay property taxes, insurance, landscaping, and all that for 3 months. Yeah. And it took me out of pocket. The problem was my realtor didn't know, because she never dealt with investors, and it kind of put me in the hole for, I think it was like $1,000 or $2,000. Wow. But that's how it happened. That's why it took longer to sell, because I was in contract the first week, but it was a 3-month out contract, and nobody knew until we came to closing, and they said you can't close. Wow. And I'm like, damn.
Shoot. Wow, that's actually, a pretty good point. In case anybody that's watching hasn't already seen Karam Khalil's YouTube channel and his Instagram and everything, but especially on his YouTube channel, if you go like all the way down to the first video, you see like a very very well put step by step on a flip on a house. From like day one, going in, seeing everything, like analyzing, like I think we got to change that, all this stuff, it's gonna look like this. And then it shows you. I love seeing like the whole process, like the cement and all that stuff.
Dude, so. I dreamt when I was starting to see that. So when I dreamt like I'm getting into real estate, I'm about to do auction, I'm about to flip, there was realistically no videos out there at the, not quality, but at the, that made sense. People have 30-minute videos and they tell you like one tip within the 30 minutes. So I'm like, there's nothing like that. So I was like, let me just document as I'm doing it and see how it comes out. If you want to flip and you watch my videos, you will learn how to flip. It's that easy. I made a video of me flipping that first property, and I explained exactly how it went and how everything processed through. So I do it because I wish that it was there for me when I was starting, and that's really why.
Exactly. Is that like the approach? I kind of want to talk about like the way you branded yourself. Like, what's the approach? Like, what was the first thing that made you think like, hey, I think I want to document what I'm doing. I think it might get some attention. I think some people would want to learn from me. Yeah. It's
the weirdest thing to say. I am the most introverted person on earth. Okay?
Yeah.
Introverted with my personal life.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm an extrovert. But personal life, I never shared anything I did from 12 years old to about 18. I never talked to anybody on what my personal investments were, what my flips were, none of that. Right? So the first video I made was the scariest video on earth. Louisiana, Baton Rouge, in a hotel just like this. And I stood right in front of the window. I had a Canon G7X, flipped the camera, and I made that first video. And that first video was just like welcoming to the world type of thing. And from there, it was crazy because I never shared what I do. I was always just doing it myself. I was a solo player, never built a team, nothing. It was just me. If I can't do it, I won't do it. And ultimately, that's the branding that you're talking about. It's barely just now coming in.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, it was just, let me just document what I'm doing. Let me just put out what I'm doing. Somebody will catch on to it. It's cool. It's a reference for me. And I knew if I made these videos and I didn't put them on YouTube, I wouldn't even edit them. What YouTube forced me to do was edit them in nice sequence versus me just dropping it in a file. Right? So that's what also helped me do those videos. But I've been on YouTube for maybe 4 years, strong, and actually doing it for maybe 8 months, right? 4 years, I was doing it the first year. I would do it for 6 months. I would quit for 3. I would come back for 2. I would quit for 5. Come back for 1. I'd quit for 2. Just on and off, nothing serious. And then when I started to focus these past 8 months, growth is extremely slow, but it's very consistent. It's moving. It's now just pushing out there. And that's as the brand starts to transition, the brand starts to kind of realize itself. People worry. People want to get it so quick, so early on, but they don't understand that it takes a long damn time. If you hit one video that goes viral, you're only going to get a couple hundred subs. You're not going to just explode. You have to continuously do that over and over and over. And the brand will follow as you start to learn yourself a little bit more. Every day I learn myself, and I'm sure you do the same. And everybody watching, I'm sure they do the same as well.
Yeah. No, that's in these past 8 months, what is it that kind of like, what made you push a little bit more? And actually, the other day, I saw in your story, KMG coming soon, Karam Media Group.
That's kind of scary how you guessed it. That's really scary how you guessed it. But it's my last name. It's Khalil Media Group, and basically it's creating a media group that's gonna be able to represent my personal brand. It's gonna be its own entity. It's gonna be its own thing. It's gonna be Jesse, who's basically the one who's the head of that entire media group, and he's basically gonna just lead that company, which is what it's going to be. And he's just gonna lead it. He's gonna document what I'm doing at the same time. He's going to create something to where other content creators are going to be like, they want to outsource from KMG because that team is just crushing it. Yeah. But ultimately, it's for the personal brand, and as it grows, it grows. So that's really what that is right there.
Nice. And so these past 8 months, you've decided, what, I'm going to put work into, put more content out there, more information, add more value to anybody who's watching, anybody who's following, have like, guests on my show, like people like Ben. Is his last name Wegman?
Yeah.
Wegman?
What do you think it was?
I thought maybe it might be like Wegman or something. Like it was like German.
No, it's Ben Wegman, yeah.
Ben Wegman, yeah.
the last 8 months for me have been I have a reason in a way and a position to now make videos. Before, when I was making videos, it was about what? I didn't know. I was still trying to find out, what am I making videos for? Is it for investors? Is it for people who just want to know about real estate? Is it for flippers? Is it for wholesale? I just didn't know. The day I became a real estate agent, which was about 10 months ago, it became a lot more clear. Like now I can position myself to where I can talk to people who want to know real estate, people who want to know real estate agent life, and talk about the entrepreneurship portion of it as well. So the past 8 months was, now I got something I can brand myself around. Now let me hammer it hard and show people what it's about. You know? Yeah.
All right. So barely 9 months ago.
January is when December 22. So just January.
Shoot. Wow.
January is when I started officially. Yeah.
Wow.
And that happened by accident. So I was sitting on a closing table just like this. It was me. It was who is now my client. He was an investor. I helped him buy a piece of land that he was just interested in. His communication was off, so he just didn't know how to communicate too well. He's not from here. He's not local. So I just talked to the broker direct. We ended up going to the title company. We're closing it. It's me. It's him. It's a title lady. He goes, "This is great. I'm the investor. We have a developer, and you're our real estate agent." And I'm like, crap, I'm not a real estate agent. And I didn't tell him that. He assumed I was. I made no commission, no money, nothing. I just did it to build that relationship, which is what I preach a lot, free work. I worked with this guy, another guy for about 3 years, not making a penny. But they built homes, they invested, and I learned from all of that, which was worth money for me, right? And that same day, I went and I signed up for an online course. I finished the course in 2 to 3 weeks, failed the test 5 times, got my license. I just kept taking the test until I could pass it. The lady was like, "Karam, you've been here." The lady was like, "Karam, you've been here too much. Can you just please pass this test?" Jeez. I was like, "I'm coming next time, and I'm going to study for an hour and watch me pass it." Studied an hour, just literally opened the book, and I said, "I'm going to do it." And I went in and I passed it. And before, I was just trying to wing it. I spent like $300, $400, $500 just trying to wing it like an idiot.
Yeah, because it's like $54 every time.
And then I failed it 3 times. I had to retake the course.
Retake 30,
I was like, no way. But I would autoplay it on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I thought I knew it because I did auction before, which is reading title, learning all that, the jargon and stuff. So I just assumed that I knew it. And ultimately I didn't because I failed the test 5 times. The first time I passed the national, which is 80 questions. I failed the state, which is 30. Then failed the state another 4 times. Just annoying contract words.
Shoot, man.
Yeah, trick questions is what they do all day. They just try to trick you.
Wow. So 9 months. So as a realtor, you're fairly new being a realtor, but you've already been doing all this real estate background, which puts you at a really great spot already.
Yeah, as a realtor, I hired a realtor to do the first 3-4 years of my investments. And being a real estate agent, residential, is so damn easy.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's so easy because if you're on the sales side, take a picture of the property, you sign the contract with the seller, you list it on the market, you email blast a little bit, you make a flyer, you do open houses. What else are you going to do? Yeah. Right? Commercial is a different animal. And that's really what I focus on. Maybe 90% of my business is commercial.
Oh, really?
Because residential is just, I do flips on houses, that's cool, but not as a real estate agent. I can't stand doing open houses. I can't stand having to deal with emotion, somebody crying, "I want to sell this house to buy a new, prettier house." Like, I don't care. Yeah. But I care when it comes to numbers, investments, cap rates, etc. for commercial. And if you're doing residential real estate, in my opinion, it's so easy. All it is just hustle. Yeah. Which is hard. Yeah. But that's easy in the terms of actually doing the work. Yeah. So that's really what it is.
Yeah, just how I was like mentioning it to you before we started recording on like what kind of got me a little interested in doing real estate. Like, I was just helping my parents find tenants, It's just simple, like, take pictures. I had like the photo and video experience. Take pictures, put them on Zillow, put my number there, and like, people just like texting me, "Hey, like, can I go see it?" And I'm like,
if you list the house for the right price, you're gonna sell. Yeah. If you list it too much, you're gonna have to explain to the clients why it's not selling. It's not rocket science. You just literally break down what's going on with this property. Yeah. And people like it, people love it, people have a passion for it, and some people just don't want to do that. And for example, me, that's why I transitioned to commercial. My first listing was a commercial building, which is, it was a huge 16,000 square foot shopping center, which is what got me to become a real estate agent, because the client who I helped buy the land was like, "List my shopping center. I'm about to finish building it." That got me to get my license, and then from there, it just kind of started picking up.
Wow. So just want to give like a very random personal loss. Last summer, I was filming I got hired to film a wedding in Denver, Colorado. Well, actually Aspen.
Wow, I'm going there in 2 weeks.
Really?
Or 3 weeks.
Shoot.
Something like that.
Nice. Just vacation or business?
Essentially, yeah. Like a group of friends just sent out that it's his birthday. He's getting married in a month.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, hey, let's just go for the bachelorette, which is just like a joke.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it's a good excuse for me.
Yeah. No,
so I'm
good.
like, book it. And I hate booking flights, finding where to go, finding where to vacate, finding what to. I just
Same.
like to follow someone. I like to follow
Same.
someone, be on my phone doing work, and then just tell me where to go, tell me where to eat. If you ask me, I just don't know. So when they took charge and they did, I was like, here's my credit card info. Just run whatever it needs to run from my side.
Nice.
I was like, let's just go.
Nice.
It's 2 days, so we won't die.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
So I went there last summer. I got all my gear. I always double check that I have my gear. But on that trip, I figured, you know what? I'm gonna take my MacBook just just in case I get bored in the hotel. Which there's never even time. Like there's never downtime.
Always, I take my laptop in hotels. I never open it. It's so weird. Or I always take my camera with me if I'm going for a 2-day trip. I never vlog.
Really?
I'm just like, okay, I wasted it.
Yeah, because I mean now it's just real easy. Like if anything significant happens, I got my phone.
Exactly.
Right? So I took my MacBook. I used it just once. Like literally, I think it was to like send an email or something. Like something super insignificant. I get back home in San Antonio after the wedding, after the flight. My MacBook is gone. I have no recollection. I know that they always like ask to take it out because it's got to go through like a separate screening. And then I just have no memory of like, was it in my backpack or did I turn around? Somebody take it out. I don't know, And so I'd had that MacBook. That was like my workhorse.
It's gone?
It's gone, yeah.
Oh my God.
And I didn't know what happened to it. And my parents just kept asking me for like weeks. Like, but do you think you might have, like it just for like days and weeks after. And I was just like, I took it as lost already. Like it's gone to me.
It's gone.
Like it's gone. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Like it only took 2 days where I was like, that really sucks.
Yeah.
But then after that, I was just like, it's gone.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and my parents were the ones who kept like, but maybe you could still call, and maybe they're still like, I'm like, I don't even want to.
Yeah.
Like, and it would like frustrate or like maybe annoy me a little bit because I was just like, I'm already even like I probably already stopped thinking about it. Now you made me like remember, But so I want to talk about, that was like for me that was like, I think I bought it at like $17.50 or something. I bought it refurbished.
Still expensive.
Yeah, it's still expensive. So, that to me is like, it was a pretty big financial loss. I want to maybe ask like, as far as losses for you, like, do you have one that's like super memorable that you're never going to forget about?
Never going to forget.
Yeah.
My brother's washing his car. He calls me, and when you're in DFW, Dallas, Fort Worth, and there's an iPhone, an iPad, or anything electronic for sale, I'm on speed dial. You call me. That's the first person going to buy it out from you.
Yeah.
My brother's washing his car. He sees 2 people washing their car, vacuuming as well. Hey, bro, you trying to buy an iPad? Hey, bro, you trying to buy a MacBook? They had both. My brother looks. He goes, no, but my brother buys this stuff. Let me call him. Calls him. They both show up to the house. The guy shows up to the house. He's in like I think it's a Ford Explorer or something. He pulls up on the side of the curb. I go to the window of it. I'm walking out like I'm excited. I'm about to buy a great deal. And he's sitting in the first seat, and then he has somebody in the passenger seat. The passenger seat guy is showing me it from the passenger side, but I'm on the driver's door. And I'm like, let me get the iPad and MacBook so I can look at it. And he goes, no, it's right here. And it was beautiful sealed. I mean, it was glowing. I just saw thousands of profit. And he wouldn't give me it. And I'm like, I'm right here. If I'm going to run, you just open the door and run after me. My house is right here. Right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't give me it, and then I kind of had to jerk it away from him. And one rule is when you take it out of the plastic, you just lose a lot of money. You want to keep it brand new, right? So I didn't take it out the plastic. I looked, flipped it. It was fully loaded with everything that it needs, and iPad was there, MacBook was there. It was brand new. And I think I gave him $800 or $1,300, something like that. But it was an easy $3,500 sale, like a flip. As soon as he drove off, he took it from him, paid him, he took off. And then I walked to the mailbox, and I'm like, screw it, let me just open it. I open it, and whenever I take off the lid, it was a damn brick.
No way.
I swear to God, I'm not even exaggerating. It was a damn brick.
What?
I was like, okay, the MacBook's a brick, but the iPad's something good. I go open the iPad, the same exact thing, perfectly sealed, perfectly specced out. One was like something gigahertz, and the other one had gigabyte. Like, it was all written on there. I look at it. I look at my brother. I laugh, and I toss it in the recycle bin, and I walk in the house. My brother's face turned red. My brother is swole. He jumps in the car. He goes, I'm about to do something to these guys. And I'm like, bro, I'm the one who bought it, and I don't even care. Right? Yeah. When I lose money, I laugh, and I toss it away, and I walk away. That's it. Yeah. I don't care, because that was the best experience. My mistake, I should have opened it. My brother's like, you idiot, you should have opened it. You should have checked. I was like, this is what you don't do. You don't open something when you're about to flip it, and it looks brand new. Yeah. That's the last thing I'm going to think. So he felt bad because he brought them to me.
Oh, okay.
Brang isn't even a word. People keep telling me it's brought, but he brought them to me.
Okay.
Brought, I don't know. Yeah. But he brought them to me, and he felt bad. He tried to go after them. I was like, it's not even worth it. He just stopped the car, and he was just pissed off.
Yeah.
And I was just cool. I tossed it in the recycle bin, and I walked off. How old is that? Maybe 16, something like that.
So my sister asked, what inspires you every day?
It's such a hard answer, because every single day is a different vibe. I'm still looking, what's that motivation? What's that inspiration? What's that thing that's pushing me? What is my direction? Where am I headed? Right? So I'll have days 5 a.m. sharp. I'm awake like a hawk. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to hustle. Days 7 a.m. hits, 8 a.m. hits, 9 a.m. hits, 10 a.m. hits. I'm like, what do I do? I have no tasks. I have nothing to work on. And it's those dead days, those dead moments. Like I told you, in real estate, you'll have days where you can literally be in bed till 12 p.m. and you're just sitting there with no calls, and then at 1 p.m. your phone explodes from calls. Deals close that you never thought would close. Things happen that you never thought would happen. But the inspiration part is just myself. Always my drive was from personal self. Knowing that when I see other people doing it, I'm like, man, Karam, like with full humbleness, like, you're so much better, you're so much more capable, you're so much more able. Like, why wouldn't you have that? Why wouldn't you be in that position? Why wouldn't you set you up for that? So it's just a personal talk every single day. I inspire me, and it's weird to say there's nothing out there that inspires me more than myself, right? And that's what makes me push every single day.
Yeah.
I hold myself accountable too high. I was talking to someone on the phone yesterday. It was a close friend. He goes, Karam, like, you need to just take a step back and kind of recalculate what you're doing. He goes, you hold yourself way too damn accountable for what you're doing. He goes, like, it's not just somebody telling you this, it's yourself telling you this. Like, you need to really be careful and not do that, because you will end up losing motivation. You'll end up losing drive and stuff. He kind of made me relook at things. Yeah. I hold myself accountable too high and expect too much from myself, which could sometimes hit you.
But then people think that you're not enjoying it, you know? But I think that's the thing that a lot of people who don't have that set of eyes for what you're doing, especially, like, no one's going to know your life, right?
Yeah.
But especially, like, you know, I rarely like to use the word entrepreneur, just because, you know, the whole, like, inflation of the word, you know, I don't like saying, like, I'm an entrepreneur or I hustle, even though, like, it's all right, you know, like, that really is the definition. Yeah. But, you know, so that's why I kind of wanted to preface that, because I'm about to say it. Like, being an entrepreneur, right? You have the vision for what you want to accomplish, and you know, you're hard on yourself for that, right? And nobody else is going to be able to see that. Like, you know, that's why people might think, you know, you hold yourself, like, you know, too high, you know, you set yourself the bar really high, but that's just the way it should be, you know. Definitely, but then people are going to look at you and be like, hey man, like, you know, you got to take it easy on yourself. Don't go too hard on yourself. It looks like you're not enjoying it. And it's funny, because it might look like it, because damn it, I didn't make it, or like that negotiation, I said that one wrong word and it blew everything off. You're still doing really good, but then, like, it's just things like that they just kill you. But it's just, I mean, without that, like, you know, what would be the point of it?
That's a great way to put it. When he was telling me that stuff, in my mind, I was like, he's right. But look what his stance is. Look at my stance. I have to be this way for what I'm trying to accomplish, what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to go. So I took what he said, respected it, kind of actually looked myself in the mirror and said, okay, what can you adjust and kind of calm down on a little bit to allow you to focus more on this? And it helped. But at the same time, the accountability still has to be there at a very, very high level to where I'm trying to go. Yeah. And in order for that to happen, I have to be on top of myself more than anybody else out there. There's no kind of taking it back or taking it a little bit easy. Mm-hmm. And it's just good to sometimes see the average person's mindset, because it puts you in perspective to know you're holding yourself at this level because of where you're positioning yourself. For me, what's fun is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
This stuff. Sharing experiences, sharing failures, sharing successes, inspiring, motivating. Like, you could put me in front of a stage and I'll talk like a machine. Mm-hmm. It's just so fun for me, right? And all the behind the scenes of what I'm doing is to lead to that, which is going to be the fun time, which to get to that fun time, you got to go through the bad times. You got to go through the low points and et cetera, right? So this is fun for me. Like, if you say, hey, what's going to be fun for you on a Sunday, podcasting or making a video or something, that's fun. Like, I get hyped up for it. I get somebody who watches this video who's been in my position, who's experienced what I'm experiencing or what I did experience, it's going to change their damn life, right? Especially if you're going to college, especially if you were in those positions. It's the hardest thing. 18 years old, making money, looking at a white wall at 3 a.m. like, what am I doing with my life? That's literally what happened to me many, many, many nights. 19, what am I doing with my life? 20, what am I doing with my life? 19 years old was the best year of my life. From working hard to growing to aspiring to building. I had a startup at that time, winning competitions, all of that was the best time of my life. 2021 was just so much confusion. 18, so much confusion. 22 right now, just clearing up some confusion. It's not that black and white. It's not that clear. It's not that easy. And what people show you online is so scary because it's all fake. 99.9% is fake. And on Instagram especially, I always try to reiterate, stop looking at what you see. It's fake. It's just people posting things. It's just those ads of someone making $500K a day. He might be making that. There's 7 billion people in the world, though. Don't compare to this guy. Don't think you're behind. Don't think you're making mistakes. And on my Instagram bio, I changed it recently. I just put on the top, enjoy the journey. And I say that not for you. I say that for me. Because I had a moment where I wasn't enjoying the journey. I was trying to do things too fast, too quick, too much. And now I'm taking it back to just enjoy what's happening. Enjoy that phone call. Enjoy that meeting. Enjoy that deal. Enjoy what you're doing. And eventually it'll lead up to something. That's just how I look at it. So to answer your question, I don't know where I just went with that, but that's where it is.
Yeah. No, I mean that is definitely like, I mean, I could say like what makes me happy. I'm like, sometimes maybe eating a donut makes me happy. There's like a lot of like little small things that I'm like brings a smile to my face.
For me, shooting a 3-pointer, making a switch, I get so happy from that. For me, going if we have a group of 20 friends, say let's all go play football, and I'm playing wide receiver, that makes me extremely happy. But it's rare to happen. It's very rare, especially as everybody gets busy and older. But ultimately, what makes me happy is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoy it.
Yeah,
this is not work for me right now.
Yeah.
Make sense?
No, totally. I mean, like when I was like, hey, you know what, like a 4-hour drive to Dallas, just to get to talk with this guy, like that is going to be so worth it. Like, I mean, there's like content that's going to be able to come out of it, a connection, relationship.
I respect
like,
that so much. You making the trip out here, when you just seeing that ambition in you, like this guy's about to come from San Antonio, he's about to drive out here, about to get a hotel, not a motel. You came in Hilton, top tier, nothing better than that. When that happens, it gave me a sense of I resaw my bio, enjoy the journey. And as I was driving here with Jesse, I was like, this guy's impressive. He's coming to do an interview, at the same time got a very nice hotel, at the same time coming out with his girlfriend, at the same time saying, I'm going to enjoy Dallas and see the views and see what it has and explore it. That's fun. And at the same time work. And it's not easy, but at the same time you're exploring, you're enjoying, and you're experiencing. You'll never get these days back. This trip that you just did impossible to forget. Especially 30 years down the line, you will remember, I made a trip, I interviewed this one guy, where is this one guy at in life now, how are things, relationship building, and you being a realtor coming up, that's gold, to be able to build relationships. Who do I know in San Antonio right now? That's a real estate agent. Maybe I don't know, but what if I have a client who wants to build or wants to do something? I have a client right now building in Austin. But I don't have a realtor in Austin, so I have to either drive there or I have to refer it out.
Yeah.
But now if I know you in San Antonio, I call you and say, hey, I want you to do this deal. I can't help him out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just knew, like, and you know, you can ask Mary, like, yesterday we were having fun and kind of like going around. I saw your interview with Ben, and you mentioned that the Galleria was your favorite, right? And then he was like, no, I like North Park. And it's funny because I kind of chose this hotel because there's, you know, my girlfriend was saying, like, oh, maybe we can go to a mall. And I was like, there's two. But I've heard from Karam that the Galleria is the best one. So I was like, so let's just get the one in front of the Galleria.
That's hilarious.
And then it's actually funny. I just want to share real quick. Like, we were going to maybe film somewhere where it wouldn't have been like, you know, like a little more like that conference room. But, you know, I was able to mention like, hey, maybe we could film here. Maybe a little bit of a nicer. Is this a nicer?
I like this a lot more.
Cool.
This one has more touch to it.
Yeah, and so that worked out perfect. And I mean, the gallery is right here.
Yeah, North Park is it's a cool mall, but you going in there, you have to have $10,000.
Oh,
Galleria, you can go and spend a couple bucks, enjoy it, kick back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's levels to it.
Yeah. No. So like we were yesterday. You know, we were having fun. We were going out and, you know, trying a bunch of places. But, you know, my girlfriend was still able to see my like bit of stress, you know, that I had, like, you know, getting everything ready for today. You know, but it's like stress, but I was still enjoying myself.
Yeah.
I was like a little slightly stressed, but I was still like, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm having a good time. Like I told her, like, this is like a really great night we're having. Yeah. Even though in the back of my mind, cause you know, it's not like it's not like this is just like, boom, pop them up. That's it. You know, there's like a whole.
There's a whole visual, a whole presentation, a whole preparation. It's so stressful when you're interviewing someone. On my channel, you see it, I interview a ton of people. To get interviewed, I always say, man, these guys have it so easy. The worst type of interviews I've had is when I had to send the person the question.
Oh, shoot.
I hate doing that because when you send someone the question, they prepare for it. They answer like robots. Scripted. That's why for you, I was just like, I'm coming through. I'm going to talk to you. Whatever question you have, throw at me, because it comes from experience. It doesn't have to come from writing it down before I come.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot less stressful for me. I just have to show up.
Yeah.
For you, it's you got to prepare.
Yeah. No. You know? So, but I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, I just messaged you on Instagram. I was like, hey man, like the craziest thing, would you be down? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. I was like, so now I got it. I was like, I can't just say like, oh, never mind, I live 4 hours. You know, I'm just like, no, I'm gonna do it. But dude, like, appreciate the openness. Appreciate you taking the invite. And I mean, this was really insightful. And I hope it can provide value to anybody watching. I'm gonna put your Instagram. Like, if you guys want to check out Karam's stuff, follow him on Instagram and YouTube. Anything else that, you know, people.
Those are primary.
Primary.
Yeah. Instagram is shorter clips of YouTube, and YouTube is just the longer version, whether it's personal videos or interviews. But I ask questions in interviews that people like you and I would want to know from people who are just crushing the game. So people get a lot of value from that. Yeah,
cool, man. So thanks for coming out. And
no problem, man. I appreciate it. Dude. It was great. It was fun. Hopefully we'll do a lot more than a lot more coming out our way. And also thank you for making this whole trip from San Antonio to here. You're a beast, man. Keep it up.
Pleasure, man.
You got it, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And liftoff at dawn, the dawn of Orion, and a new era of American space exploration.